Hi everyone! Today we are continuing on with our portrait basic series. Last week we did noses. This week we are going to do study for.
As usual, I'm starting off with a basic drawing. And you can see that this is not a very detailed or a very accurate drawing that I'm going for. What I'm just trying to do is getting a baseline established, and I'm using acrylic paint to do that. And the reason I'm using acrylic paint to do that is because it will dry quickly and I can start on my actual painting right away. Now on to the first lip, where I am going to show what are the things that you are not supposed to do. And you can see that I am starting off by putting in a base tone on the skin. People, when they start off with portrait painting, a general tendency is to mix one particular tone for the skin and one tone for the lips, and then paint the entire area of the skin with the skin tone and the lips with that lip shade. And typically people choose a pink tone for the lips. Now let me tell you, just like the skin, and the lips are generally of the skin tone only unless the person is wearing makeup. And another mistake that often on everybody does with portrait painting, whether lips, nose, eyes, is painting outlines. There are no outlines. The outlines are only there if you are trying to draw cartoons or manga kind of art. So stay away from outlines. So the don't video, I did it with acrylic paints. Now I'm switching on to oil paints, as I'm trying to show you what you're actually supposed to do. Now I took a dark color, which is purple, I chose in this case, and just barely drew the outline or the dark edges of the lip. And now you can see that I've filled in the entire area of the lip as well as the skin around it with the same skin tone, because typically the lips are more or less the same color as the skin tone. Just because of the extra capillaries, it looks a little bit redder. So on to painting of the lips. You will see that initially I added some highlights to some of the areas with some unbleached titanium white, and then I'm coming back with the darker shade of the skin tone and adding in some darks to the skin, or rather to the lips or the shadow areas. Now if you look at a reference photo carefully, which I very strongly recommend when you're starting off with portrait painting. You may think that you have looked at lips all your life and you know how it looks like, but when it comes to painting, a reference photo is always a better thing to follow than to follow your own thoughts, processes, or what you think is the right thing to do. So you can see that I'm adding some darks in the in the edge areas. So how do you determine what are the lighter areas and the darker areas? If you look at the reference photo carefully, you will see that the areas that are light are the areas that are higher up on the body. So edges around the lips, or on the bulge of the lips, which are a little bit higher up on the on your face, are the ones where the light hits first, and that is why they are the highlighted or lighter areas. Whereas the areas that are crevices, the light hits later, and of course you have darker shadow areas. Now you can see the do's and don'ts side by side, and you can judge by yourself how it should look and how it should not. Now coming on to a different angle of the lips, and I forgot to mention while I was doing the first lip demo, that you have to use some highlights for painting the shine areas of the lips, but make sure that you use the highlights sparingly, because highlights make the painting lively or lifelike or realistic just because they are used sparingly. If you use it too much, then it will lose its charm or effect. Just like in the front view of the lips, on this partial view of the lips, you will see that I'm first adding in the dark edges, and then I am putting in the skin tone first and then adding highlights and adjusting lights and darks. Now the lips that I am going to paint and demonstrate all through this tutorial, one important thing to remember is that I'm following a certain set of reference photos. Now just like noses and eyes and any other feature of the face, lips also differ from a person to another person depending on gender, age, and a race of a person. So the not only the skin tones will differ, but also the shape of the lips, the contour, how thin or thick they are. They all depend on a various amount of factors. So that is one thing to note. Now to the profile view of the lips. So I have to admit at this point that these lips had not been drawn correctly. Almost always the upper lip is placed a little bit higher than the lower lip, so it should be protruding a little bit more than the lower lip. And you will see in a little bit that I will come back and adjust the surrounding areas to correct that difference. See, now it's all corrected, and the upper lip is a little bit of ahead of the lower lip, so you can see kind of a slope between the upper lip and the lower lip. Once again, starting with the darks and slowly building on the lights and highlights is what I'm doing with this lip profile demonstration as well. And due to the camera angle and how light reflects off oil paints, it kind of looks like I've used green and blue paint, but it's for the darker areas I've used red, brown, and purple, and for the lighter areas I have used combination of yellow, red, white in different proportions to get the right look. And you can see that I'm adjusting the lights and darks once again and getting the right highlights. And there you have all the 4 demonstrations side by side to understand what you should and should not do while painting your lips. So start off with a good drawing and a very good reference photo, and then do not put outlines and follow the rules. I hope you found this video useful. Thank you for watching.